This is A to Z with Mark Zinno, part of Locked On Sports Atlanta, and it starts now.
Good afternoon. Welcome to A to Z here on Locked On Sports Atlanta, where today I tell you it's the first time in a long time. Welcome in. We are live here on this Tuesday as we get you set for Falcons minicamp. And full disclosure, I should say good morning because I'm actually recording this right now before I head out to Falcons minicamp practice here in a little bit. So I'll have a full coverage, full report on that on tomorrow's show. We will talk with Aaron Freeman as we sort of get expectations for minicamp as it gets underway here on this Tuesday. It's Tuesday through Thursday. Media availability only on on Tuesday and Wednesday this week. So we'll get to the Falcons here in a moment. By the way, give us a follow on Twitter at LockedOnATL. I'm at Mark Zinno, MarkZinno. Wanted to get to the Braves real quick because they win their 12th in a row last night. But it didn't come at an expense. As Ozzie Albies breaks his foot, they expect him to be out 4 to 8 weeks. And, you kind of get the first sign of a bump in the road, the first sign of trouble for the Braves as they are on this win streak here. And everybody is sort of like, and you worry about it. In reality, guys, I can tell you that I don't know if there is anything to worry about with Ozzie Albies as far as him being out 8 to 12 weeks, and dare I say that it's maybe a blessing. During this win streak, guys, during the 12 games, Ozzie Albies is batting .222. He has exactly 10 hits in 45 at-bats. His on-base percentage is .250. He has exactly as many stolen bases during this win streak as I do. That would be 0. To say he's been a non-factor, okay. I'm not down on the guy. I'm not saying he's a bad player. I'm just saying this hasn't been the year for him. I mean, prior to this, he was only batting .250. His OBP was .298. So it's like, how much of an impact has he really had? And I say all that to say that there is enough of offense on this team to be able to cover things down for Ozzie while he's out. I think the depth is there, and depth is always questionable, right? It'll be tested. If Orlando Arcia or whoever it is who's going to be the full-time second baseman going forward is going to, have a sort of role in this thing, then he'll have to play well and do and play at a certain level. If not, they'll make some changes and figure something out going forward. So I don't think Alex Anthopoulos will sit on his hands and go, "We'll just suck it up for 2 months." No, I think they'll find any player who's going to help them win baseball games. So the good news for them tonight is Steven Strasburg not starting. He got yanked heading back to the IL. So the best chance, I think, for the Nationals to beat the Braves would be with Strasburg on the mound, and that's not happening. So maybe the Braves can win all 3 of these games. Who knows? It's always a weird spot like this in baseball where you get some unknown first-time starter who steps in and all of a sudden, bam, you end up getting your 12-game win streak snapped. So we'll see what happens. But let's turn our attention to the Falcons here, because for the first time in 14 years, Matt Ryan will not be at Falcons mandatory minicamp. He will not be at any camp. He will not be at training camp because he's no longer part of this team. And it signals a massive change. This is now Arthur Smith's team. This is Arthur Smith's culture. This is his entire environment to create, grow, build, and mold into whatever he wants it to be. And he's going to pass some of that responsibility off to his quarterback. And his quarterback right now, Marcus Mariota. It's a fait accompli at this point that we feel like Mariota is going to be the week 1 starter. Although many people, much like me, have been questioning when and where is the opportune time to get Desmond Ridder in. How much, work should he get with the ones, and could he possibly win the job, and things of that nature. And look, all those are fair questions. And some of that, full disclosure, is, it's sports talk radio stuff, right? Like it's what we do. We ask questions like that are sort of hypothetical to try to figure out the best way for fans to get involved and interact. So I'm not saying that just because I don't think that Marcus Mariota has a chance. Desmond Ridder has a chance to start. I think he does. I think he absolutely could win the job if he's given an equal opportunity. If it's truly an open competition, he's got a shot to win it. Now, again, I use the Russell Wilson example not because he was a third-round pick, but because he was a guy that was behind Matt Flynn when he got to Seattle and came into camp and won the job, and the rest is history, as they say. Let's hope that's the case for the Falcons. Let's hope the rest is history with Desmond Ridder, and we figure out that this guy really can play, and we're off and running. But as we get out to minicamp today, I'm just going to kind of look for some signs and signals of things that I've repeatedly said I think that are important. I'm very curious to see what the offense looks like and how it's geared towards Kyle Pitts. You're going to try and run a whole variety of different things, but when they come out in certain situations and the first play that they run is to Kyle Pitts, you get a sense of how important it is, right? Like you put your bread and butter plays at the front. You don't come out for your first play of a practice and go, let's go flea flicker. Coaches don't do that because it's a throwaway deal. It's not something you're going to use routinely. The bread and butter stuff goes up front. The basic foundational pieces of your offense go up front. You have to master those before you can master anything else. And so let's figure out what the foundational pieces are for this offense. I'm definitively curious to see the first time they put guys on the field with pads on, is Tyler Algier the number one running back? I think he's going to be. I think he's going to be the week one starting running back. I think that there is a lot of opportunity for this young man. Let's just see if it comes to fruition here in training camp. I think those are things that you can easily look at. And then on the defensive side of the ball, I will look for what is the measure of improvement we can look for this defense. They're still going to give up points. They're still not going to be a lockdown defense. They're still not going to have guys who get to the passer on a regular basis, get to the quarterback on a regular basis. All those holes are still going to be there. But what is the measure of improvement we can get for this offense? For this defense, how much can we look at them and see if they can improve? That's kind of what I'm looking for. If they were giving up 28 points a game, whatever it was last year, I don't know the number off the top of my head. If they were giving up 27, 28 points a game this year, can they get it to 26? And you say, well, Zinno, that's not a big deal. It's only a point. Yeah, it is a big deal. Have you looked at the roster on defense? Do you know any of those names outside of Grady Jarrett and AJ Terrell? Nah, nobody does. When you got 9 other guys on the field that nobody wanted and nobody cares about, yeah, that's a big deal. You can get this thing down just a point on defense. That's a big deal, and that's something to celebrate for Dean Pease and his crew. Dean Pease finally has players that he has sort of handpicked and hand-chosen for this defense, right? And let's see what he can do with them. Granted, they're not high-level guys, but let's see what he can do with them because I think it's important that when you're running a defense, you have the players who fit that scheme better than the ones who don't. And, of course, I'll do one of these and give a gander out there and see if I can see that 45 anywhere on the field. Deion Jones anywhere here? Deion! Yeah. I don't think I'm going to see him. I'd be shocked if I do. Even if he's standing on the sidelines, I'd be mildly surprised. So we'll get a full report on Falcons training camp tomorrow on the show. So stay with us. Aaron Freeman, Locked On Falcons, going to join us next right here. We'll dive into training camp itself, minicamp, I should say, not training camp. We'll dive into minicamp with him and see where the Falcons are headed in 2022. That's coming up next. Plus, I feel like I'm making a bold prediction. I feel like one's coming with Aaron. That's coming up right here on A to Z on Locked On Sports Atlanta, free on YouTube and wherever you get your podcast, you search Locked On Sports Atlanta. We'll be right back.